Hello and welcome to another episode of Chillin' with Dylan. I'm your host Dylan, and I'm so excited to bring to you today our next topic in our lineup of podcasts. Today's topic is on the things we wish we knew at 18 years old, and I have two amazing guests that are joining me today, one old and one new. First up, we got Adam. Welcome to the show, Adam.
Thanks,
Welcome back.
Dylan. Am I old? Because I feel like I'm normally the young one, but I'm the old one, I guess.
Yes,
Good to be back. It's been a while. Back on the Chillin' with Dylan podcast.
it's great
It's
to have
good.
you back.
But we're more excited about the new guest,
The
Shannon.
youngest. Oh, yes. Welcome, Shannon.
Oh, hello. Hi, Dylan. Hi, Adam. I feel very insulted.
We we are welcoming you as our youngest,
All right. We'll
our
take it.
youngest guest of the house. Yes, because it's a really relevant thing, age. Although we're not going to get into details. We're kind of taking a bit of a journey down memory lane. Let's just say, it wasn't long since we were all 18. Um, you know, I could still remember that year
For some of us,
personally.
it's been 10 years, but okay.
Okay.
Longer for others than than some.
How about we just go into how we met each other? I think you guys knew each other before you knew me, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's it. How do we meet each other,
I
Shan?
don't know. I feel like it involved KFC and the bus ride home.
Uh, yeah. So we're part of the same uni club, which Dylan joined later on as well, called Social Innovation New Zealand.
Shout
Um,
out.
Shout out to
Shout out.
the best club in Auckland Uni. A few years in a row now, actually. But yeah, really awesome time. And then we were sort of there from the start. And I think there was a lot of KFC meals after club activities to hang out and do team bonding, and that's sort of how we met.
It was,
Well, Shannon and
yeah.
I met, yeah, and
Oh,
then
yeah,
we
me and
caught the same
Adam.
bus home. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
because
Adam
was
joined
this
as a young, inspiring, student wanting to fulfill his dreams. I think he joined, what was it? What was one of the things that Sims
competitions?
did? Yeah,
Was it
I can't
advise or
remember now.
was
It
it
That
must
was
have been advice.
internships.
Oh,
Internships.
oh, was it
internships?
internships
Yeah.
first? I thought you joined advise first.
Oh, you mean in terms of the competition? No, I think it was the first case comp. It wasn't
Oh,
advice. It
right.
was the
Was
actual
it
thing.
Kickstart?
Kickstart.
Maybe.
Oh,
Yes, that was it.
Kickstart. Yes, that was
Yes.
the one.
Dylan's
And
got a great memory.
Adam was very young.
You sound like his mum or something, Shannon, the way
No,
you.
Was?
just to be clear, Adam is young, but he is definitely wise beyond his age.
I think that's the thing that everyone says about Adam, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Because you actually would have known him at a 18
I
year
was
old age, wasn't
17.
he?
I was
17.
17.
Oh,
17.
Yes.
yeah.
So maybe if the Shannon now could give me advice back when I was 17, turning into 18, that'll be good, right?
Oh, yes.
Well,
We're all
that's
here to give you advice, Adam.
well, that's sort of what we're here for. And we met Dylan, was it a year later, through the same club?
Yeah, I joined the club a little bit later. Probably I was in my third year of uni, so I was in my 20s by then. And yeah, got to know you guys and became really good friends through the club. And um, we've done a
Even
few
went on a
things
trip
together
together.
to South America.
Oh, yeah.
Vamos. No, anyways. Uh, yeah, so enough of that. We can talk about the travel later time. But let's get serious. Uh, One of the first things that I guess we bonded over would have been our study, our university, what we did. Was there anything that you guys didn't know back then that you wish you did during the course of your time at university?
Hmm. That's a pretty good question. I'm pretty happy with what I studied. So I did a Bachelor's of Commerce. Yeah, you can hear all about that in Dylan's first podcast, way way back when, where we talked about work. No, actually, second podcast where we talked about
One of
work.
the, yeah,
But But yeah, it was. I think I was that was something I was always very interested in from high school. I was very fortunate to find something that I liked or something that I was interested um, in high school. Whereas I know for a lot of people, it takes a little bit longer. So yeah, I guess I was very very lucky in that sense. What about you, Dylan?
Um, I, it's hard to say, but like I think one thing I didn't know in first year, when I was 18, was that you could do exchanges. Um, I, I found out much later, maybe second year of uni. But I guess I still did them, and that's good. But like if I say knew about those earlier on, maybe I would have planned it differently and made less mistakes with courses or things like that. Um, yeah, that's the one thing that comes to mind at the moment. Um, but yeah, it was good because it didn't you don't know much when you start out, and then by the end, I spent 5 years at Auckland University. I feel like that veteran that all the first years go like, oh, like haven't they graduated? Like, what are they still doing here? So
Mm.
yeah.
Wait,
Anyways,
had you chosen something? Had you planned your courses differently? Would you have graduated earlier?
um, no, no, but
No, that's so
I still
interesting though.
I would have just maybe done some better courses that I couldn't um do otherwise if yeah if
Yeah,
I
I don't know.
had a
I feel
better
like
plan.
sometimes like these things you just don't know. And obviously in hindsight, it's like, yeah, we would have done this course or we should have done this other one. But I feel like for me, I had no idea, like in high school coming in, I feel like I was just following the crowd, doing what everyone else was doing, which was back then Bachelors of Science.
Was that a common thing?
That was a very common thing. Everyone went
Oh,
into biomed. It was either Bachelor of Science or obviously accounting.
oh, interesting. Seems very different.
So I was basically following the crowd and doing what most people were doing and just going through the motions in uni, and hoping that because I did this, I would get a job at the end of the day, which is probably not true. But I think like at the time, like you don't really know what you're going into. Even if you knew what you're going into, like you were so young, like you still have so many years to mature and you're like seeing different things and that might sway your decision into a different route. I just feel like these things, like I'm sure you can have so many transferable skills out of doing like these random papers that you didn't think that you would need. But like, like even if you took a random paper, Dylan, that you didn't think that was suitable, like I'm sure there was transferable skills. And at the end of the day, like you are where you are now because of them. So I feel like it
Yeah,
doesn't really matter too much about that. And I feel like I should have told myself back then, like, it doesn't matter like what pathway you go through in uni, like it doesn't have to be clear cut, doesn't have to be smooth sailing. Like at the end of the day, I think you'll figure out exactly what you'll want to do by the end of it.
no, you're right. Yeah, definitely. Half of it doesn't matter specifically what is
Mm.
done or not done. Now I just sort of think about those times. There are quite a few times. Do you guys ever remember when, like, it was that start of the semester time and people were like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna do this course?" And then, like, I remember lots of the times that happened to me, and I was like, they're like, "Nah, do this course with me. Let's do it together." And I was like, "No, no." I have my own plans. And
Oh, you
now
stuck with your guns.
it's like, oh, I could have just. It probably didn't matter. Like that course didn't even help me. I could have just hung out with my mate for the whole semester.
What did you
So
gain out
probably.
of that Inside 101, whatever you did?
Oh yeah, whatever it is. A lot of random computer programs, probably.
Oh yeah.
Great. That you don't use.
Great fun. I think one thing I would add actually, what I would do differently if I could do it again, and what I would actually recommend to most young people in their 18, 17, 18 coming into uni or
Mm.
not uni. It's so normalized nowadays where everyone just automatically assumes that you go to uni, but it's I think it's not necessary. Like you should
No,
really be, that
100%.
should really be a conscious decision to do something like that.
100%, yeah.
But I would always recommend for like inspiring young person to go out and at least spend a year doing just doing a gap year. I
Mm,
think it's really, really important. It's very common out in Scandinavian countries, out in Europe, to go take a gap year and find your
yeah.
passions, find what you're interested in,
But then also, I feel
socialize
like you
with people.
develop quite quickly as a person and you don't spend those young years like figuring out, oh no, what should I do? Whereas if these people just go out into the world and kind of like have to guide themselves and, be independent, they kind of grow a bit faster. And at the end
Yeah,
of the day, kind of figure out, oh, actually, I do want to do that because they've kind of explored all avenues beforehand.
exactly, exactly. So I think that's why it's such a cool thing. So would
Mm.
highly recommend. That's probably the main thing I'll do
Damn it,
differently.
Adam, you stole my mistake, but okay. We'll
Oh
touch on that
no,
later.
we'll touch. That'll be a long section for that.
Yeah. Can I add one more thing? I would say to join in clubs as many as you can earlier, sooner, because I did not do that until
Definitely.
maybe like year three, year two of my uni years. And I felt like the first year I was just like with everyone else studying so hard for the first year biomed. Like we just did not, yeah, it was
Hmm.
a terrible time.
Yeah, that's probably some of the most valuable things you take away from uni, right? It's like
Yeah.
the
The,
friendships, the
the connections you
experiences.
make, the experiences for sure.
Yeah, so
Mm.
better than the actual uni courses. I don't remember why I did an
No, I
accounting
don't.
102. Like,
Yeah, not gonna lie, I literally came to uni to meet you guys. I mean,
oh,
to that wasn't about the courses. It was to make friends, which obviously part of that was you guys, not specifically Shannon or
You
Adam,
mean
but
specifically us, right? Yes.
yeah.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, that's
Dylan came to uni to meet future content providers for his podcast.
that's
He
That's
had it in his
exactly
10-year
right.
plan.
10-year plan, 10-year podcast plan.
Future planning is insane.
Yeah, it's all about the long game.
Yeah.
Um, but speaking of, what about the transition from that to the world of work? Um, all the time we spent in different clubs and courses. How do you
Mm.
guys think they positioned you or allowed you to, succeed or flourish
It was
in the
interesting
current
because I
phase
feel
you're in?
like working in those, or not working, I guess it was, I felt like it wasn't work most of the time, but like being in Sins and being a part of like other clubs like Chiasma, like it definitely helped me like deal with different sorts of people and different like for example, like different conflicts and
Yeah,
leadership skills and all of that. Like it just, I never would have had all of that experience if I hadn't had gone into these clubs. If I was just studying every day, not interacting with anybody, like I wouldn't have been able to have those skills and give me that confidence to kind of tackle other issues in my workplace and stuff. So highly recommend again clubs. Sins.
would recommend Social Innovation New Zealand. You heard it here
Social
first.
Innovation New Zealand, yes.
um, what would you say to the people? What do you guys say to people who are like, oh, but what if like you do all that, but you don't get paid? Um, like how would you respond to people who challenge that by saying, I got work, I can, make money and whatever job.
I think getting a job or whatever is fine. I think that's a really good thing to do as well because you are going out there, you're interacting with people as well. But I think what's special about uni clubs and sort of social activities is that you get that very unique experience. At what other points in your life are you going to be put together with a whole bunch of
Yeah.
people going through the same stage of life, experiencing the same things, and that really is something special.
Mm.
Um, it's arguably you can get sort of social skills from other places as well, but it's that social interaction I think is very unique to uni or like college or whatever you choose to
Yeah,
go
I
to.
agree. Yeah, I agree. Like you can't really do that. Well, I guess you could do that now at in your workplace, but it's definitely a lot easier when everyone's put together in
Yeah,
university, when you have that kind of platform to kind of, discuss ideas and talk to different kinds of people and yeah, kind of explore areas that you want to do freely without having the pressure of like, oh, I got to pay a mortgage, oh, I got to pay this, like it's not anything. Well, for some people it is, but I guess for a lot of people, it's kind of like a place in their time of life where they can just explore everything. So why not make the most
yeah.
of it, right?
I think, yeah, definitely a unique opportunity, time, period of life that you don't live in the same way again, even if you go back as an adult to do things.
No,
I
it's,
think it's
yeah,
slightly
I'm sure
different,
it's different.
isn't it?
Mm.
I was just thinking, yeah, like at uni, what's completely unique is the fact that you're with so many young, smart, and beautiful people all together. Like, it's
Oh,
just
beautiful. You're beautiful,
yeah.
Dylan.
I'm just like,
Dylan didn't say that was us.
Oh, okay. Rude. I take it back
I'm
then.
just saying, I'm just saying. In most workplaces, well, except for a few, like it's a lot of smart people, but
Mm.
you're not gonna have like beautiful people in every office.
Okay.
Make the
Fair
most of
enough.
it.
I get where you're heading here, Dylan.
If you get the hint,
Yeah.
18-year-old friends. No.
Well, one of the things is like where you get a whole bunch of people in the same age together is
Yeah.
uni dorms, right? Uni dorms and flatting and sort of different
Mm.
living situations that you have.
See, I never had that. Yeah.
I didn't really have
I
that
had
as
that.
well. Did you?
Yeah.
You had that, right, Dylan?
Yeah, in first year uni, I went into a hall of residence. Yeah, it was a
How?
pretty interesting experience. It was good. I had a great time, honestly. Like, it feels like a long time ago. But like, it was a great way to really kickstart getting into the uni life, social networks, and making friends. You sort of just get thrown into a mix with a whole bunch of people that are in the same stage, and yeah, make friends real quick. Um, yeah, and you get to focus on the studying a lot rather than I think being at home. Yeah, it's like it's a cool experience. I would recommend if you have the opportunity financially, and if you go to a new place, new city or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something I missed out on. Would have been nice to experience once, I think. I did have a bit of it when I was on exchange in Singapore, which I really enjoyed, but it's I'd imagine it'll be different being in your home university and doing that.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
What about after uni? Like, what sort of, if you were to go back to 18-year-old self, what sort of advice would you give to 18-year-old self? Because I know most of us stayed at home. Dylan did 1 year out in uni dorms. Would you advise people to move out earlier or later, or?
Probably depends on your situation. I know it's not a great answer, but move out as soon as you can. I reckon. You don't need to do it right away. It's not necessary, but I reckon at some point throughout university, just give it a shot. You can always move back home. And I did stay at home for a while in the middle of my time at uni, and you've got that option if you live in the same city. Yeah.
Yeah, I would 100% move out early if I could. Obviously, at the time, we had the luxury of, well, my parents were in Auckland, so there wasn't much point in me moving out at that point. But I moved out when I was 25, I think. And I feel like there was a world of experience that I had not experienced yet. Should have had earlier, for example. How long do veggies last in the fridge? Just simple things like that.
Yeah, that's actually such a true thing. Like, no one teaches you that. Like,
no, why is there no class in uni about
How long do veggies last?
Yeah.
Veggies 101.
How to cook for one person only?
it's actually one of the biggest things you have to like remember, like just in your mind when you're like looking after your own food.
Well, it's
like,
insane because
yeah.
the thing that they don't tell you is the second you move out, all you think about all day, every day is what am I going to have for dinner? Have I taken the chicken out? Like, have I taken this out of the freezer? Like, it's just a constant thing about what am I going to eat tonight? What are we going to have for lunch? I have no idea. No one tells you that, but that's literally all you think about.
It's like how to sustain yourself, right? Like,
Yeah, basically.
yeah.
you have it here, 18-year-olds. That's all you're gonna be thinking about for the next couple of years.
Yeah, the amount of time I spent at the grocery like store after I moved
Mm.
out and I'm like cooking for myself is just so much more compared to, before. Even compared to living in a say whole residence where you're catered for, that's a difference.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
I
So
wouldn't, yeah, I wouldn't count sort of like a whole
Mm.
as properly living by yourself. I think
Right. I think it's a
it's
good
like in
step though.
between.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's not like Shannon's experience of like all these things hitting you at once, like vegetables thrown at you and bills and like
Oh, you
landlords
don't know
and
how many
whatnot.
vegetables I had to throw away.
Was any vegetables in particular the worst offenders, Shannon?
All of them,
Don't eat. She's just saying, please just don't buy vegetables, eh?
Just no buy vegetables.
I mean, I didn't also know that potatoes grow appendages, so that is
That's
also a thing.
uh all these things our mums are just, like
Yeah,
Shaking my
too
head.
superheroes.
aware of and never
Mm.
tell us and
And
yeah.
laundry as well. Oh my god.
I actually like laundry.
You like laundry?
I don't mind it either. I don't mind it.
It's very therapeutic to sit there and
Same.
fold your clothes, and
Mm.
you can give
I,
me your laundry, Adam. I'll do them for you.
thanks, Shan.
If we're in a flat together, but
Is this foreshadowing?
no.
Oh, next
Moving on to the
podcast
next
recording.
question. Next question.
All right.
All right. Yeah. Okay. What's it like for you guys? I think we've all gone through a few different places we've lived in since we've left home. Flats and different accommodation, sometimes in different cities and sometimes in different countries. Any advice when we move out of the city that we grew up in? I've gone to Wellington, and so that's a decent step, but it's not as big as maybe
Yeah.
you, Adam.
Yeah, no.
Mm,
But
yeah.
what sort of advice would you give, Dylan?
Uh, I think for me, living somewhere, it's really important to get set up with a really good support network right away. So yeah, hit up anyone that you know in those places. Uh, but also, you're not bound by the first people that you hang out with. You can always like jump into
Yeah.
new environments. I would encourage
Mhm.
anyone who's moved to a new city, anywhere that they're not familiar with, to just try lots of different groups in whatever context, setting, club, for sports,
That's such
or
good advice,
other
Dylan.
hobbies. Just do it, and you can always back out and run away and
Yeah,
pretend you've never
100%.
seen them when you see them in the street, sort of thing.
Try as many things as possible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like those meetup groups are quite good. If you guys have ever downloaded that app, I
Have you
think is it
done it?
Meetup or yeah, I did it
No.
a couple of times in Rotorua when I moved there. Rotorua is great, by the way.
Shout out.
Shout out to my homies there that I made friends with. That was literally
Your,
the first time that like I moved out and I just
we
moved.
out
So
of all places. Yeah, I remember we visited your flat one day. It was pretty cool. I just remember did we have like that shrimp that we got at the like
oh, Henry the
Taupo
shrimp.
Hooker Falls?
Oh, yeah.
we,
Didn't we name one?
Henry. Oh,
Henry.
that's so sad. Didn't
we
we
went.
put him back or?
Yeah, I don't know.
Think
We went
so.
prawn fishing, didn't we, earlier that day?
Mm.
So that's the
And then
context.
you chilled
Henry
at my
is a
flat.
prawn. Yeah.
Yeah, my flatmate
Yeah.
was really nice.
Jenny. Shout out to Jenny. Was it
Shout
Jenny?
out to Jenny.
It
Yeah,
was Jenny.
Jenny.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Jenny.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was no. You're right. Like I like Jenny. I just found randomly on Trade Me, but the fact that she knew some people that I knew, like in a like I think she did pharmacy, and so therefore like I knew quite a lot of people in pharmacy because she kind of knew like mutual friends. It kind of helped along that situation and just made me feel more comfortable, even though I've never met Jenny before. But it was just knowing that someone there that might be a bit more relatable, having because I knew nobody in Rotorua when I went there. It was just me, the lakes, the smell.
The smell.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'll probably give a similar piece of advice as well. Go out and try new things, but also similar to you, Shan, maybe move in with someone that I don't know, or
Yeah.
someone that I don't know very well, at least to start off. Just so you can build on. Like I've become good mates with some of my housemates' friends as well, so that's a good way to expand your social network and meet new people as well.
But also, I think it teaches you a lot of like not I don't want to say tolerance, but like it teaches you how to deal with different people in different situations. Like I'm sure, well, I feel like I haven't had a bad flatmate, but like having to, speak up about something or having to, maneuver around and living with a person, like you like in the future, if you guys ever get married, like you're going to be living with a person for the
That's
rest of your life,
true.
So
Yeah.
having this initial like, setup where you're trying to navigate living situations with another person, having their friends over, having your friends over, or your partner, or whatever. Like it's such a useful experience to have before going into that next stage,
Teaches you communication.
Communication, yes.
Conflict resolution.
Conflict. Still working on that, but that's fine.
Keep going. Yeah.
Hmm.
One last thing on the like moving out, flatting or whatever situation. I think sometimes, no matter what you do, sometimes you can just be unlucky and end up in a really, really bad living environment.
Yeah.
And I think that's when you probably want to like, get advice from friends and just double check for sure. You know, if things are really bad and everyone's saying you don't need to stay there, then get out. Like most of the time, you shouldn't be bound
No,
too
I
much
think
to a place that you live in.
yeah.
Maybe sometimes a little bit financially, but just get out, like just for your own mental health,
If it gets to a place
everything.
where you're just not looking forward to going home or not even wanting to be in the common spaces like the living room or not even wanting to come out, like it's definitely a sign just to,
Yeah, yeah.
get a fresh
Home
start,
has
move
to be
on.
a safe
Mm.
space
Yeah,
in all
I think
sorts of
so.
ways, physically, emotionally. Yeah,
Mm,
definitely.
agreed.
All right. So next thing, I guess, that's really important in everyone's lives as a young 18 plus year old surrounds the general question of who to love in terms of your friends, family, relationships. Who do like any advice for how to prioritize or pick the people that make up, the most of your time in your life? They do say, I've heard, the 5 people you spend the most time with will sort of influence you the most. Any
Mm.
advice in general? Feel free to pick a specific area. Like Adam, maybe you can do relationships. Would you have any?
I think you're probably both of you guys will probably be better off at that.
Okay.
You guys are in longer relationships than I am, but I guess
Nah.
to be completely cheesy, the person they should love the most is yourself. First of all, like understand yourself,
Oh,
uh,
Oh.
we
guys.
love you too, Adam.
That sounds so
You mean we love
so
ourselves
cheesy.
too, Dylan?
Oh
No,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but like to sort of preface it, I think your 20s is a good time, or like your 20s or after you're 18. It's a good time
Mm,
to discover yourself and really to find out your own personal interests, what you like, what you don't like, how you interact with people, and all
mm,
that. So definitely gaining that self confidence, I think, is
mm,
the utmost importance before finding other people. But I guess maybe one thing I want to talk about is family then, because if you do, more especially if you do move out, but more so if you have like more of an adult relationship with your parents, where you guys are more of an equal rather than just, growing up in an Asian household, it was very much like your parents told you what to do and you did it. That was it. No
no
questions
questions
asked.
asked.
No questions
Yeah.
asked. No ifs or buts.
No.
Um, but in a more adult relationship, I guess it's more important about understanding that your parents are human too.
Mm,
This is their probably first or few times raising a child, so they do make mistakes. But what's important is communicating with them, understanding their perspectives, and just sometimes it's really rewarding to have a really deep chat with them as well.
mm,
And especially after you do move out, although I found it to be a bit easier to connect with my parents on a deeper level because, distance makes the heart grow fonder and all that. But just as a whole, it's so important to keep in touch with the ones you love and with your family members as much as possible. So, yeah, I think moving out really shows the importance of that.
See what I mean about him being wise beyond his years?
Yeah.
Shay, just calling me old. That's like a round
I think it's very appropriate that he called you old and I'm the new person. I'm new,
The new young
the
hip
young
person in town
hip person.
in the seat of the podcast. For- So, what do you have to add, Shannon? Like any additional
Well,
thoughts? Like,
oh, I 100% agree with Adam about having that adult relationship with your parents. I guess for me, like with in terms of like friendships, for example, like I feel like you really don't know which group. I guess you had that established group in high school, but then when you're in uni, you're kind of like, exploding into this. Like you could just explore like different avenues. Maybe you like, I don't know, cosplay or I don't just different groups and different, settings. And just having that variety of friendship groups, I think makes you, I don't know, like I feel like for me, I had so many friends, not so many, I'm not trying to brag, but like in uni, you have way more friends now than now. And I feel like now you've kind of filtered through, oh yeah, maybe I'm more like these people now, and you're kind of settled into that. Whereas like if you didn't explore yourself, you wouldn't have known these were your group of friends. So I think it's just keep an open mind, but also like having a really good support network, in fact, throughout uni was quite important for me, I think. So obviously, seeing like if whether or not that they make you happy or how they make you feel, and if they make you feel then just move on. Like it's not the end of the world, you know. So,
yeah,
mm.
very true. Um, I'd agree for sure, especially on the friends. I found that on the aspect friendships, once you go from the high school to university transition, it becomes pretty difficult for a good group of people, to be able to keep in touch. And then again, the jump from university to work, especially if you move a different city or different place, that's when it becomes really difficult to maintain the vast, numbers of friends that many people may have built up during, the time period at uni or wherever when everyone was just forced to be at the same place. Um, yeah, I do agree. Make sure uh, you spend more time with those that make you feel great about yourselves and make
Yeah.
you feel like you're more inspired to do all the things that you actually want to do yourself, the things
I think that's
yeah,
what
that
brought
you
us
find
together
important.
really in uni. Like we were just a whole bunch of
Mm,
people that kind of like made each other feel great, but also like inspired each other to do better things, better work, better things in life, and yeah, kind of
Travel to South America.
travel to South America together, eat a llama
yep.
together.
Oh my
We
god,
didn't
we
eat a
did.
whole llama. So
No, sorry.
all right, all right. Yeah, let's not mention the guinea
We
pigs,
can sound
okay?
like
Like no.
we sound like savages. Eat a llama
Hey,
together.
when in Rome, guys, but never again.
Yeah,
Never
true.
again.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't do it again just for anyone. Yeah.
But guinea pig?
Too many bones, I think.
Yeah, it tasted really gamey as well. Nah, not a
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
also the
Chicken's
way they
better.
display it is just horrible. Like they
Yeah,
display the full adult, like, the full thing. Anyway.
yeah.
Find friends that can travel with you and eat weird things with you.
Now, see, that's a test. Like, traveling together.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
that's a
Test
yeah,
of
good
your
yeah.
test.
friendship.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually where a lot of friendships are made or broken, and relationships often.
Oh yeah, for
That
sure.
can happen as well.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
Did you
Uh,
have a relationship in uni, Dylan?
no, no, not really. Not just a little bit, but
Yeah.
majority of the time, yeah, I wasn't in a relationship.
Mm.
And so that's sort of like going on to the next piece of advice. It's actually okay to be single throughout uni. It's actually depending on what you want. If there's a lot of different things you want that most people might not be going for,
Yeah.
like like if you want to do 5 exchanges in a row, maybe not five, but like
It's
that's
hard
pretty
to keep a
hard.
relationship going,
Yeah, yeah,
with all of that.
there's a lot of things that you got to consider about yourself, but like I think yeah, like if you find the right person, definitely it's very, very awesome, and don't
Yeah.
let that go. But yeah, like you don't have to force yourself to find someone during uni or like
No,
from
and
your
also I feel
from
like
your
you
one
change a
class.
lot.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
change a lot in uni, and like you kind of discover different facets of yourself each year almost. So having to have a
Definitely.
person with you through those years is kind of like hard to, navigate. And I feel like it's a lot easier, I guess, to grow yourself when you're by yourself,
Yeah, agree.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. But as I say, there's a lot of beautiful, smart people all at the same place. But like, do what you want.
What are you trying to say, Dylan?
I just,
Only
You
here for
gotta
a good
do,
time.
if
Only
you
here for a
gotta
good time.
if you gotta do what you gotta do.
yeah, yeah, have fun and don't I mean, yeah, like shoot your shot if you want to, and it's the best place to make, sort of like, yeah, like lame mistakes and horrible mistakes on the love front, because I think the worst thing is like, I imagine I didn't go to co-ed school, right, but like in high school, if you like shoot your shot but like it fails or something, and like everyone finds out, and it's like, oh, like Brittany said that you're
Oh, Brittany.
oh, Brittany, like, yeah, anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, go for it.
Well,
I don't
that's
know.
true, actually. In uni, you should
I
try everything.
Did
Literally
you go to?
everything.
Yeah. Was
Oh yeah,
it
I went to a co-ed
co-ed
school.
school?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it sort
Yeah.
of like that? I don't know. I can't imagine
No, I don't think
having a.
no. I don't know. Like, I'm sure, like within like inner circles, you would hear that kind of gossip.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like in terms of like everyone else, I don't think you would have heard that much. You would definitely know when someone broke up, though. Like
Oh yeah.
they're no
Yeah.
longer
Yeah.
sitting together for lunch, or this and this person is starting to hang out. Ooh, they're cheating on them, or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, they sat
Don't get that
together
in uni though.
that's nice. Yeah. Anyways, we can't go too much into detail on this topic.
I think that's a completely different podcast topic.
Probably, yeah,
It's
for
yeah.
later on down the line. But yeah, hope that was some useful advice on that front. Now, the next thing I think that's worth touching on is in terms of financials. Yeah, like financially, do you guys think you guys did pretty well as you went throughout your, early adulthood? And do you have any advice from that?
Oh my goodness. I feel
Oh
like I
my
was
god.
terrible with my finances until COVID hit. Like, not that I took out, like, I know people that have taken out, or what is that thing that you can take out in uni? Like the
Student
Cost-related
loans.
costs?
cost related,
No.
yeah, like I think it's like two
Yeah,
grand
yeah,
or something a year,
yeah.
like
One
and all of
one
that.
grand
Like
interest
I don't
free.
think I've ever taken out loans or like I had credit cards and stuff, but I don't know. I think it depends on how you got taught like your money values in terms of like how you spend your money, how you do all of that. Like I don't know, mum gave me credit cards at a young age just so that she could teach me how to like, well, not young,
Wow,
but
that's
like
good.
18.
Yeah, yeah.
No, she worked for a bank, you see.
Nice. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so she gave me a credit card when I was like, I don't know, when can you get a credit card? Probably quite young,
16
16,
or
18,
18. Yeah.
16. But, just learning to manage your money that way and also having to pay it back. Like, it's not something that you can spend like endless amounts of money on. But yeah, just having that. But I don't know. I
That's
feel
a
like I
lot
was
of trust
terrible. Oh, yeah.
for
But the
18
thing
year
is,
olds.
she kind of also had an eye on my money as well. She kind of gave me that freedom, but also like was watching me at
It
the
was
same
to
time.
monitor you. It was,
It
it
was to
was,
monitor this, yeah.
it was a false
Double-edged
sense of
sword.
freedom. I was like, Shannon's been going to Macca's like 5 times this week.
Well, that's
What,
when
at
you
1
that's
a.m.?
when that's when you
1
withdraw
a.m.?
cash, you see, and then you spend the
Oh,
money.
Shannon knows all the tricks.
I'm kidding, I'm kidding. How were you guys like with money in high school? Did you guys learn anything from your families or?
I don't think I was like that great with money. In fact, right now I wouldn't even say I'm like particularly great with it, but I think growing up in an Asian household, I was like more conservative with money and less like just go out and spend and buy whatever you want. But I feel like once you start getting your first job, even during uni, like part time, that's when like, oh crap, I actually have money now. I can go afford that.
Well, see, that's the thing. I feel like the first 2 years or the first 3 years from when you start working, you're kind of like, oh, I have money. I can do all these things that I've been
Yeah,
wanting to do for so long. And I feel like you don't end up saving until maybe like 4 years down the track when you're like, oh yeah, wait, I gotta
yeah.
start saving for something now.
I know, and that's crazy. But yeah, definitely not something I was really good at. But I think maybe one thing for 18-year-old Adam to do is to have more of a specific savings goal of what I wanted to work towards, and have a solid plan of how much I needed to get there.
Yeah, that's a good point, because like my mum would always just be like, "Oh, why are you buying this? Because you need to save money." I'm like, "Oh, why are you buying that?" I'm like, "I don't know what I'm saving for. There's nothing really specific, and I can't really like. There's no tangible thing that I have to save for, and you just don't save because, like, why are you saving for that when I could spend it now? You know?"
Yeah. You
But
need to have
yeah,
the
if you
carrot, to chase.
yeah, it's good to set goals for yourself, I guess, and things that you're wanting to buy in the future. And obviously, right now with the housing market, it must be pretty intense for, especially Aucklanders.
Hey, let's not depress these 18-year-olds with their
Should have
impending
started
future.
saving yesterday. Like,
Just started when you were 8.
10 years ago. Yeah.
The best time to start was when you were born.
when you're born.
Should have started hustling.
Well, if you have kids, 100% start like investing for them.
I think that's a really good idea.
Mm.
What about you, Dylan? Any financial tips or tricks?
Yeah, for sure. For me, is an interesting. I think I have an interesting perspective on the finance side of life. Unlike you guys, I feel like through my parents, I learned a lot, but finances was like relatively like probably. Uh, Safe to say most of my education before uni was probably from like video games in terms of finances, but essentially I was good at saving money and and investing or sort of I'd encourage people, if you have like money that you don't know what to do with, say you want to save but you don't know what to save for. um do have a look into potentially investing stuff so that it's not within arm's reach in your transactions account. So that it's like a bit
True.
more of a barrier to access. You gotta like sell something, whether you put it into a few shares. There's a lot of like good platforms out there these days, more so than back in the day. For sure. Get into that if you can, and like it's not as hard once you spend some time in it. And yeah, save money, but do celebrate like little wins and occasions that you have. Like I remember my first job was like a tutoring job. Um, like I'd get maybe $50 a week. I'd end up blowing most of it on like food and drinks, just the weekend. But longer term, like I started also eventually after the first bit, you know you can make that go far. Yeah, like work as much as you can, get a bit of income when you're studying, but also don't work too much, so that you can't study or like enjoy life and hang out. And one of the best things I think you can do with your money is investing it in experiences. Yeah, road trips are worthwhile thing to blow money on.
Yeah, or even
I
you don't
never
even
save
need
money.
to spend
Yeah,
money on road trips. Like you can have
yeah,
like
yeah,
a really, and I think that also comes down to like who you hang out with as well. Like if you all are kind of on the same wavelength of like how much to spend, like I think you can still have a really good time, like having a cheapish
definitely.
road trip, like camping under the
Yeah,
stars or something like that,
yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah.
Make sure, yeah, yeah. Don't just spend money on anyone. Make sure you have some really great friends you can travel on roadies with, or to the other side of the world and look at stars together with. Hey guys.
Oh.
Oh, thanks, Dylan.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
hard. Like there's a lot of
Yeah,
pressure when you're younger to, be where everyone else is and like do what everyone else is doing. And you're kind of like, oh, but I've spent already like this and this much this week. Like, should I really be going to that brunch or should I really be going to, whatever
It's so
that
hard. Yeah.
club
that's true.
or bar and spend like how much,
Oh, actually, speaking of this, um, I feel like this is a perfect time to segue into all the mistakes that we have made, not just financially, but like not all of the mistakes, but like one of the biggest mistakes I think I would have made was going into like nightclubs and because someone's like, oh yeah, it's really lit tonight, and then like you have to, well, in Auckland, like having to
Oh
pay like 20
no.
or 30 bucks and then it's like dead or like
And it's
you know, that's
never
like
as lit as they say it is.
Oh my goodness.
it's
Oh
the
my
worst
goodness.
worst way to lose money. Like full stop. 18-year-olds, listen up. Like do not like just listen to random people or random friends that don't know anything.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of, I feel like whenever I'm like at a club or whenever I'm having a really good time, I tend to have this thing where I'm like, shots on me, or like, I'll pay for the next group. I'm like,
Yes.
I feel like I can't do that. Like someone needs to be beside me and be like, Shannon, this is not financial. This is not a good idea.
As
This is
your
not financially wise.
certified as your first certified financial advisor, I would recommend.
There needs to be this thing on your card where you have to, when it can limit the amount that you spend that night. So,
Or just be
Yeah.
like past a certain time. It's like, nope, all
yeah, no,
transactions
decline.
declined.
Sorry, no more for you.
Uh,
Oh
that's
my
so
goodness.
true. I I think, yeah, going to nightclubs and sort of being pressured into doing things that you don't necessarily want to do. But I don't think it's like as big of a problem though, because you
Mm.
learn from those experiences, right? Like
Yeah.
Dylan, you learned that, hey, maybe nightclubs aren't for you, especially on probably a Thursday night when there's no one else around. Like, but that's sort of what you learn from those experiences. I think probably a
Yeah,
bigger
exactly.
mistake would be just sticking by everything that you've known from your narrow worldview and then just not going out and trying stuff as well. I think
Yeah, I
that's a
agree.
bigger mistake. But
I
Especially
agree. I
food.
was, yeah, especially
Try
food.
all sorts of food.
Lol. It's interesting that, like, I don't know, I think I mentioned this topic before, but then I was thinking about it further. I'm like, you know what? Like, there is no mistake that I would have made that I really regret. Like, everything in life has led me to this point, and I feel like I'm pretty happy with the lessons that I've learned from that. I remember Haley was telling me this thing about, like, we were walking Mount Tongariro, um, the
That's
Northern
our good
Circuit,
friend.
hey,
Yeah.
with our great
That's
friend Haley.
our friend, for those listeners who don't know, shout
Oh, yeah,
outs.
sorry.
Anyways,
We were hiking up on the mountain, having a tough time, feeling tired and exhausted. But she was just telling me how, like, you know what, like, unless it's an irreversible mistake, then it's a mistake to be learned from, like, unless, I don't know, it's a mistake where, I don't know, you had a baby when you were like 15 or so, I don't know, but like something irreversible for your life,
yeah, yeah,
you can kind
yeah.
of take back most things.
Mm.
So it's just a learning experience from that point. Or even if you did have a baby at 15, like that's still a learning experience. But I don't think you should regret anything major. You just
Mm.
take with it and then run with it, and then you'll know better for next time. So
Yeah, exactly.
mm.
Couldn't agree more.
I think I know one mistake. Um, it's that I didn't start this podcast when I was 18. I think had a lot more episodes. Had a lot more
Dylan, this
episodes.
would be the biggest podcast in New Zealand if you started when you were 18.
Oh my goodness, there are so many things. I feel like in high school I was just like, damn, I should have started that YouTube channel when YouTube wasn't even like, it was growing, but it wasn't like there yet.
Go out and do all
Just
those things.
videoing myself, like singing with a guitar, like all the things
You
back
can
in the
still do
day.
that.
You
Do
can
it.
still do that. What's stopping
We'll
you
do
now,
it.
Shannon?
We'll do
Stopping
it.
you
We'll do
now.
it together. Come on.
This is true. We'll do it together. Yeah.
I don't even
Chilling
know.
with Shan, Dylan, and Adam,
Yeah,
Love it.
but with tunes. Yeah.
but
Love
with
it.
tunes. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Obviously,
Well,
another mistake would be the OE thing, but Adam already touched base on that.
yeah,
Having
do
to
it.
have a separate 1 year gap to explore and do everything, and
Mm.
should have done that earlier.
Well, if you
Yeah.
guys could give one piece of advice to your 18-year-old selves, what would it be?
Hmm.
Just one.
I think just not care what anyone else thinks and just do you, because at the end of the day, like that's all that matters. And I think you'll attract people that are similar to you if you do yourself, and just not care what anyone else thinks.
Mm. What about
Yeah.
you, Dylan?
Agree. That was also something that was on my mind.
Mm.
Just don't worry about the opinions of others, even if it's a group of people that's really close to you.
Yeah. Well, if you
You
think it's
don't
a
have,
social norm to do something or whatever,
yeah,
like you don't have to.
yeah. Some of the best decisions I've made is when I've done something that's completely abnormal, but it's always led to like a splendid,
Nothing's
like,
abnormal.
like unexpected results. Like, you know, just random things. Explore and don't look back on mistakes, and sometimes don't look back on people. It's hard. It's a tough thing, but like, you know, it's okay to enjoy good times with people, and like, you know, for a certain point in life. And you always have memories.
Yeah, I think some friends are friends for a season, and some friends are friends for life. So.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a great saying.
Great quote. Shout out to our friend Haley.
Oh yeah.
Quote as well.
Wait, are you trying to
my
say
God.
she's friend for
Is
a
this-
season?
No.
Yeah.
Hey, your words, not mine, Shannon.
Yeah,
Wow.
no.
I completely agree with what both of you guys have said. It's go out, try as many new things as possible, and like don't care about what other people think. And yeah, some friends don't have to stay. But I think I wanted to offer like one piece of more practical advice. I was thinking for a while, I'm like, oh, what should I say? And I was really stuck. But I think if I was to give one piece of actionable advice to my 18-year-old self, would just be to go read heaps of books. Just go out. I have picked up this habit in more recent years, and I've really enjoyed it. But I think if I could go back when I was like 18 and read, oh my God, I'll be so wise and smart.
Give
You
us a
are wise.
recommendation,
even
Adam.
more, even more than
Yeah.
now.
Give us a recommendation.
What's a good book to start off with? And one of my favorites is How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's like a classic.
Oh, yeah.
It's just how to talk to people and how to deal with human relations. But yeah, things like that. It expands your worldview. It's probably one of the best uses of your time in order to make you a better person and reach your full potential. So that's one
Yeah.
piece of advice.
I'm trying to do that now.
Yeah,
It's
I
hard.
think that's another thing. Try not to you know, fall off. I feel like I was really good at reading all these like teen fiction books up until 18, and then, you know, you fall off. Everyone does that often, like once you don't have that structure in school. And you know, like people telling you to read. The other thing is, this sounds like really lame, but go to the dentist.
Oh my God, so true.
Don't
Dylan, do you have
stop.
something wrong right now? You need to
Yeah,
confess.
good thing. I'm so glad this is an audio podcast, guys. For those who've never seen my face, no, just kidding. No, I'm actually.
He's got a
I'm
big
not...
missing tooth, like right in the front.
Yeah. Honestly, like, yeah, like there's a lot of problems like that like, I'm not saying it's horrible, but like, you know, you can always prevent certain problems. The common thing I hear is like, all right, like in New Zealand, because we get free dental care until 18, everyone's like, sweet, and then once it's not free, it's like, yeah, I can do it like next year or next 5 years.
Yeah, and these
Or,
cheap out.
and then you got to pay thousands upon thousands if you know. Good thing I don't have to do that, but like, yeah.
Oh, I second this 100%.
I'm just trying to think.
Maybe a
Yeah.
story for another time. Don't pay it later. Just pay the
Yeah,
cost.
but like, enjoy yourselves. Like, I'm just so thinking in terms of what my mum would say or something. But like, have fun and don't take yourself too seriously. Whether it's like study or, you know, working. With work, especially once you first start work, you're like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. Especially if it's a big company, you're like, all these people are so formal and official and smart. But I think, yeah, I'd say, you know, just even take it seriously, but you know, don't take yourself too seriously, no matter what position you end up in, or you know, laugh a little and at yourself and all that. Yeah.
Live, laugh, love.
I just imagine like us in South America right now, Shannon, as you say that, like walking
Yeah, I know.
down like some other like alleyway or whatever.
Oh man, no. It's good to have a balance, I think. Balance of everything in life.
Completely agree. Yeah.
So much good pieces of wisdom and advice. Just as always, this is like just our classic late night DMC, but in podcast form, and I'm so
recorded.
grateful for it. What a great, yeah.
Yeah. I guess if you have any advice, if you're past your if you're a bit past 16, 18 like we are, in your 20s, if you have any great pieces of advice for your 18-year-old self, leave it in the comment section below. Or or if you are 18, let us know what sort of things you want us to talk about and give you advice on.
Yep, exactly. And one thing that won't change, no matter how old you are, is that Chillin' with Dylan will be around whether you're 18 or 80. So, stay tuned. We've got lots more exciting episodes to come, and you'll surely be laughing and learning along the way. So thank you so much for listening, and thank you, Adam, and thank you, Shannon, for joining. We hope, I hope that it's been a fun experience. Brings back a lot of memories actually. So it's been an awesome time.
Loved it.
And we look forward to doing something again. So with that, everyone, you have listened to another episode of Chillin' with
Dylan!
Woo!
Woohoo!